people do commit suicide, but 20 times they stab themselves. Can you explain how?
First of all, thank you for inviting me. I really appreciate it. And on behalf of her mother and father, Josh and Sandy, the only way to get justice in this case is to bring the feds in on the case, and I'll explain why. But just let it sink in. Despite 20 knife wounds, 11 bruises, and, catch this, the textbook signs of strangulation. I'm not saying, Megyn, that she died. The COD is not, cause of death is not strangulation, but she was strangled. There are bruise marks that are unrelated to the stab wounds on her neck and strap muscles, like this. See what I mean? Mm-hmm. Here and here. I can see them with the naked eye and the autopsy photos. But listen to this. When the then medical examiner, Dr. Marlon Osborne, first got Ellen's body, he ruled it a homicide. Of course. She stabbed 20 times, including 10 stab wounds to the back, even slicing her dura, the protective sheath around the spine, yet she kept stabbing herself 20 times. So naturally, he said, this is a homicide. Wait for it. Then, because police had already said, oh yeah, locked from the inside, this is definitely a suicide, they go meet with the medical examiner, and this stinks to high heaven. The medical examiner, Marlon Osborne, a rep from the district attorney's office, a female prosecutor who has now gotten immunity about this, and members of the police department, Philly PD, they all meet behind closed doors. When the ME comes out, he goes, correction, it's a suicide. Okay, what happened in 72 hours? It was a homicide. They have the meeting. They never divulge what happened. He comes out and goes, change my mind, oopsie, and rules it a suicide. Now, the parents of Ellen Greenberg have spent their life savings. This is just before the wedding. They've already booked the venue, gorgeous, the band, the food, the works. It's all done. She met Mr. Right, okay? She was happy. Why suicide? They spent all their life savings. They just sold their house, Megyn, to try to get her name cleared that she did not commit suicide. Wow. So they sue the city, the cops. They throw the book. They sue them civilly. They're picking the jury, and the ME is going to have to take the stand and divulge what happened in that closed-door meeting, why he changed his ruling. Last minute, 11th hour, they settled the case. Rather than tell the truth, he settles the case. Where does that leave the case? Pending. And I'm telling you, Josh Shapiro, the now governor, and you know how I hate to talk about politics because I don't want the crimes I report and investigate to be any swayed by politics. Josh Shapiro was the state AG at the time. He was begged, look at this. He's like, I don't see any evidence. I agree with the police. How could he say that? He was this close to the Oval Office until the name Ellen Greenberg popped up in the media, and suddenly he was off the roster of potential VP candidates. Mm-hmm,
that's right. That's how controversial this case is.
And now he's the governor.
So there's so many really interesting facts connected with this. One of the damning facts against Sam Goldberg, who is, obviously suspected by some as having killed her, he denies it forcefully and is disgusted that that's been alleged and has a strong statement about mental health and how people don't understand it. But we're going to consider him because obviously that's what many people, including Ellen's family, think happened, that he killed her. But one of the things that is not a good fact for him is he did, while outside the apartment trying to get in, or that's at least during the period he says he was out there trying to get in, he made 2 phone calls, or he made a phone call to a cousin who happens to be a lawyer, and that cousin's father, who's a lawyer, called him back. So Nancy, that jumped out at me as like, why, if your fiance is outside of apartment in which, you're non-responsive, why would he be calling a lawyer? Can you explain what happened there?
Well, that jumped out at me as well. However, I will say that at this juncture, when there hasn't even been a real investigation, no luminol was used. I would like to point out that no fingerprints were taken. Her blood was smeared along the kitchen cabinet. She was found sitting up in the kitchen floor, legs in the kitchen floor, back against the cabinets. And there was blood smeared behind her as if she had been slammed against the cabinets and then landed where she was sitting. This is devastating to the investigation. There's something that we call the wrong way blood. When fire and PD got there, blood was dried, Megyn. She's sitting up, going horizontally across her face. Impossible. If you believe in Sir Isaac Newton's findings in gravity, the blood would have gone like that, right?
Straight down.
It was dried this way, which proves at some point she had been lying that way for the blood to dry and then propped up, which is staging of the scene. What I'm saying right now, all I want is an independent investigation. I'm not ready to point a finger at anybody. Nobody. Yeah, sure, I can speculate. But I believe that that would hurt the investigation, because what if down the line it's somebody else and the state will be haunted by speculation? So I think what we need right now is this case to be reopened for an independent investigation. You just touched the tip of the iceberg. There's the wrong way blood. There's signs of strangulation. You and I have discussed the criminal statistics, the method and assessment of homicide and suicide. It is highly unlikely, for a female to kill herself and destroy anything around the face and the head. She might poison herself. She might OD. She might jump out a window. She might use carbon monoxide, in a car or an oven, gas. But it's highly unlikely she would stab herself. Now, in the rare event a female does stab herself.
Through her clothing.
Right. It wouldn't be 20 times. When the fire department got there, Megyn, they said she would have to be double or triple jointed to stab herself in the back that many times. In the back. And here is the coup de grace. Here's the topper. I hope you're sitting down. You may need to lay down, Megyn, to hear this.
Oh, boy.
Some of the wounds, according to experts, not me, experts, medical examiners, death investigators, at least one, if not more wounds, were administered post-mortem, after death, after her heart stopped beating. Why? They did not bleed. If you're dead and you're lying there and I stab you, it's not going to bleed because your heart's not pumping blood anymore. At least one, if not two, wounds were post-mortem, Megyn. It's impossible for this to be suicide. Now, I do not impugn perjury or nefarious intent on anyone yet. I believe the cops got there. They believed, they just ate the story they were told, that the door was broken in. And maybe it was. I don't know the answer to that yet. I do know by breaking in a door, you destroy evidence if the door was locked or unlocked, because the door's now broken down. But they said when they got there that something was wrong when they first got there. But they didn't use luminol. They didn't make any measurements. I have found out that on the bottom of her shoes, Megyn, was covered in blood. If she killed herself, why would that be? I found that clumps of her hair covered in blood were between her legs where she was sitting, according to a rep for the family. None of this equals suicide. I think the cops did a shabby job. The very next day, the apartment manager was asked if the fiance's family could come get items for the funeral. She called the police and asked them, can they? And they went, sure. And she said, well, can I clean the apartment so it can be rented out again? And they went, sure. And they even gave her a crime cleaning specialist. She sensed something was wrong. And she videoed the apartment before and after the cleaning, which is kind of a way to preserve evidence. And guess what? The police lost the video. I mean, what else could they possibly do wrong?
Tariff wars, stubborn inflation. No wonder gold has been routinely hitting all-time highs. In volatile markets like the one we have now, don't sit on the sidelines with your head in the sand. Take control and safeguard your savings. This is why so many people are turning to Birch Gold Group. They've helped tens of thousands converting an existing IRA or 401k into one in physical gold. Is it time for you to hedge against the economic instability with gold? Just text MK to 989898 to find out. Birch Gold will send you a free, no-obligation info kit. Text MK to the numbers 989898. A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Countless 5-star reviews. They've helped so many protect their savings. Check it out. Text MK to 989898 today. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.